Welcome to the No Guts, No Galaxy podcast number 182. We are your hosts, Phil and Daeron. Today is Wednesday, October 16th, 2019. I'd like to say welcome to everyone out there.
Welcome. Support for this podcast is brought to you by our patrons and Twitch subs. Would you like to support the podcast? Become a Twitch sub today. Find out more at patreon.com/NoGutsNoGalaxy. Good day, Phil.
How are you?
Doing well. Look what I have here. You can see
a
it's
moose?
full too.
Yeah, I got
A full bucket of coffee ready to go.
Like I said last time, I feel like I have to wear my freedom hats around.
Freedom hat.
Yeah, and my freedom mug. Hey, what's going on, guys? How is everyone doing out there? I'd like to say welcome. We've got another podcast. Going to sit down, talk, go over a few things, maybe learn something, maybe digest a few things. I don't know. I've learned a lot from you over the years, I think,
Oh, I know we've learned from each other. No doubt about it.
What is
absolutely patience? If nothing else, we've both learned patience.
or try to. I think, with me at least. But yeah, man, how was your weekend? Did you do anything new, different? Were you on a boat?
I was on a boat, dude.
Really?
I went out, we went out. A friend has a big trawler, a 47-foot trawler, and he had to empty the tanks. But basically, after that, we went and cruised around the bay and had a great time. I got to steer the boat. And I was totally thinking of you when I was out there. In fact, I went to the front of it and I did I'm the king of the world.
Yeah.
And I'm on a boat and sang the song a little bit. But yeah, I had a great time. It was great weather, although a little overcast. It was calm out there and just had a good time. So I was on a boat. Were you? Did you look at any property?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I was just picturing you out there like Titanic, like
I'm
Jack,
the king of the world.
Jack.
It was awesome.
Rebecca's probably like, I'm ashamed.
She was
of
sitting
him.
up on the fly deck, so she was up above.
Yeah, she's probably like, that's my husband. I'm sorry that
I think she has
like
pictures of it, but we had a great time.
No, I mean, in the bay, you're talking about, I guess, where the port comes into like Seattle, that bay. So is the water pretty chill in there already?
Yeah, I mean, it's sheltered, so it's not open ocean. You're not getting huge waves. However, like today, it's very windy. So you can see tons of whitecaps out there.
Gotcha.
From our bedroom window, we can see the bay, or the sound. I should say.
Sound,
that's what it is, Puget Sound. But anyway, had a great time. Lots of people out there. Got to, there's like multi-million-dollar homes all along the waterfront. And some of them have like, you'll have, something that's like a $3 million home. They have their private marina and they have like $1 million yacht parked at their private marina. You're just, a lot of money up here.
Yeah.
Not in my bank account, but certainly with our neighbors.
To bring up sort of a.
Yes, somebody did paint me like they're French girls.
Let me bring up. So I remember when you were contemplating coming out here and. That didn't work out because family, it was way too far
North
away.
Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina. And you guys settled on where you are right now. But one of the things that I remember talking to you back then was the potential, and I guess it's eventuality of something occurring on the western seaboard, like a tsunami. Like that's an actual thing it's happened in what was it? Alaska had a really bad one, earthquake and stuff early in like the 1900s, right? And that there's the same principles that apply like in parts of Japan apply to like the west, northwest coast, and that's where like don't build below this marker because of previous stuff. Is that something that has ever been like have a concern as far as living like right on the water?
So when we were first looking at moving up here, we started, seeing articles about the big earthquake. Living in California, you live there.
Yeah.
You would hear about that all the time, right? The big one. The big one's supposed to happen. It could be the next year. It could be the next 100 years.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to take in. Like, okay, so what do I do about that? You keep, a week or two of water and some rations or whatever. But really, what do you do to protect yourself from the big one?
Yeah, what can you do? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the same with up here. There's supposedly, any day, any
Yeah.
year, any century now. There could be the big one up here in the Pacific Northwest. And what they basically say is anything west of I-5, which is an interstate that goes up, pretty much cuts straight across Oregon, straight up through Washington. But it kind of runs along the coast. So at least the western part of the states. They say anything west of I-5 is pretty much toast if it happens. Fear mongers or scientists. I don't know,
Yeah.
who it is.
Wasn't it they were talking about like the 100-year floods that even like Oakland and stuff, where I didn't realize this growing up, that Oakland had levees everywhere and that they were built really shabbily. They were just put up. And the idea is that if there is ever a large enough or anything like that, then you're talking potentially flood, and that's just in California, let alone even where you're at, Washington, where a tsunami, the idea of like,
so there's basically there's tsunami warning signs everywhere. You drive all around here, and it's like they all point to higher ground. So it's like if you hear a tsunami warning, you go that way.
Yeah.
Do there's they test also that? They test. They have huge sirens.
Like, month?
It's at least every month, and you hear them going off, and then there's a message that comes after them.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, they're prepared in that maybe they're prepared. We live on a peninsula, basically, and so if it were to happen, we're at the tip, and just a tip, and basically we could get cut off. We could become an island out here.
Do you have any part of elevation where you guys are at?
We're at about 110 feet above sea level, so we're on top of a hill.
But that's not much, like in the grand scheme of things, right?
Yeah, but it's not like it's not going to be like Hollywood disaster films. It's not going to be a 100-foot wall of water. It's going to be like the tsunamis we've seen, right? You've seen them,
like
it's just
Philippines,
water
and
rushing
stuff.
in.
But even then,
100 feet.
But even then, I mean, you're talking about some of those were 2, 3, 4, almost 4 story. I mean, so
but
not 100 feet.
Not 110 feet. And so we're likely, in worst case scenario, we've got a widow's walk on top of our house.
Gotcha.
So we'll be up there, that's like probably
to be rescued
150 feet up, maybe, or whatever.
It's just crazy because it's like the idea that a tsunami could impact the northwest coast, like that seems almost alien as a concept, but yet it's really not. And then you look at other countries like Japan and other countries, I'm sure, that live on the coast, where the entire infrastructure is built around, like they've got the seawalls, and even then it's not 100%, but I mean, I don't know. I
was
crazy.
In Santa Cruz County in 1982 and there was a huge flood. I mean, people died. There was landslides. People died. We lived up on a hill above a river. The river literally came up, completely drowned houses below us. So we had neighbors staying in our house. River came up, went through an entire neighborhood, then up our hill. And, we were a 5-minute walk from the river. But then during that flood, we had the river in our yard.
Yeah.
When the floodwaters receded, we had dead fish all over our yard and everything. When we went into town, we had to walk in like 3 feet of water to get into the store to try and get supplies. When everything was all said and done, we helped friends dig out mud from inside their house. I've experienced a pretty serious situation. Were you around in 89 during that earthquake?
Yes.
So that was a big earthquake in 89. So
I didn't realize. I didn't realize that because I was so young. But I'll tell you, I'm sure you can do the same thing. I remember I was sitting on our couch and we had a huge like CRT TV, like a stupid old one or whatever. And I think we were running. We were in we had a few, I guess people, it's like a house that you shared with. Anyways. And I remember the TV bouncing up and down and then slammed off, and I'm on the couch going like, what in the world? And then my mom like running in, grabbing me, throwing me underneath the table. And then she was watching one of the people we live with, their baby or whatever. And the baby was in the fucking high chair. And so she couldn't figure it out. So she just tipped it sideways and brought the baby underneath. And I remember because we lived in San Jose, Santa Clara. And when this hit, I remember walking outside afterwards and all the streets were cracked and water was coming up, but it wasn't sewage. It was the neighborhood pools and stuff that everybody had were cracked and all the power was out. And luckily at the time, my mom's boyfriend, who I grew up with, he had built his house and then also had his own power. So he didn't lose power. And so we went and stayed and, you know, all that. But I didn't appreciate the magnitude of like what San Francisco, because San Francisco started to burn and the collapsing of all the highways and all the people.
Bay Bridge. Yeah.
Right. And like I didn't appreciate it then, but I remember it just being like,
there was a Giants game going on. I had friends at the Giants game. And so, at the time I was working as a butcher. So I was in the meat shop sitting right dead center of a grocery store. The aisles, you know, this is an old fashioned grocery store. The aisles were snaking. So you could see the aisles visually doing this. This store brilliantly in Earthquake County stacked all their wine up along the shelves, like high, going all around the store. So all that wine came down. There were customers with bloody faces because of the glass. Most of the butchers were trying to hide under the butcher blocks, but there were only so many butcher blocks. So we'd go into the freezer. Some people, there was a lot of like, I don't know what to do because.
Well, there's nothing you can do because like you're being tossed around like a toy.
Yeah, totally, dude. And so I saw all that. This is how long this lasted. I saw all that happening, decided, okay, I'm going to go out the back of the store, walked out the back of the butcher shop, out the back of the building. There was an MG, you know, one of those little European sports cars, getting air. It was hopping, like it was totally, all four wheels were leaving the ground. And then beyond that MG, there was a big old Victorian house. And I literally just looked up and all the, you know, the telephone lines and wires are going crazy. And I watched this huge chimney, brick chimney, just come apart and slide all the way down the roof of that Victorian and fall off. Like it was fucking destruction, man.
Yeah.
And you know, it was pretty crazy. It was a weird situation.
And then not only do you have that, then you have all the mini quakes afterwards, which are just
because and then you're already all wired up.
Man.
You're like, oh my God, are we gonna die?
Yeah,
and then you have all the aftershocks.
Fuck earthquakes. I'm sorry. Like I don't miss California. Like I have fond memories as a kid living there and stuff, but like I went back and visited. One thing, like I don't like being like in a heap of what seems like people. Like there's so many people out there when we came to San Francisco, and it had grown even since I left as a kid. So it's like there's no separation between towns, right? It's just, oh, there's San Francisco, there's
it's a
Oakland,
giant glob
just
people.
Everybody. It's like, oh, we just crossed over, and it's like, sheesh. But no, I don't miss that. So anyways, if you guys are still looking at the whole boat scene and stuff like that, are you looking at staying in that area, or are you looking at? Okay.
We love the Pacific Northwest. Now, obviously, if you have a boat, you can move around. So maybe during cold season, we'd go south somewhere. I don't know. But we love the Pacific Northwest. Absolutely love it. We love where we're at. We love the town. We love the people. You know, and another advantage of the boat, well, now, if a tsunami happened, I think you're pretty fucked if you're in a boat.
I don't know.
However, because, you know, you've seen like Japan,
well, it depends on
places.
It would depend on where you're located, right? Because like
it would totally depend.
Where you're at right now, you're on a peninsula. But if you're on the inside of that, then
we are on the inside. But
you wouldn't really be affected, I don't think.
I don't know. I think water rushing in is going to rush into every crevice of, you know. I don't know. But I have no idea. But one thing about being on a boat that we have thought about is that if over the coming years, a decade, whatever, the sea levels rise.
You're fine.
If you're on a boat, you just rise with it. So, but anyway,
it's terrifying.
Natural disasters suck.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Like watching the Philippines and stuff when all that happened, like it's insane. I just watched something. The martial arts superstar Jet Li. He was in, like, I think the Philippines or whatever, on an island with his kids and family when it happened, and almost died. Like, I think they're making a movie out of it or whatever, but like, it was crazy, totally random. I saw it on
That's
TV,
scary shit, man.
You watch footage of it, and it's just like,
it's sad. There's a lot of people, you know,
dude.
The thing that kills me the most, dude, is parents with kids who couldn't save their kids. They literally, you know, they're right there and they can't save them. And I can't think of anything more heartbreaking than
All right,
that.
Moving on. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. Let's depress the shit out of our chat.
Yeah, but outside
of that,
positive
thing.
So you were
hanging drive-in. I went to drive-in with my family. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That's positive, right? Yeah. Do you have drive-ins out there still?
None around here, but back in where like I when I
In
first
the Bay
moved here,
Area?
the small small town and where we moved here in North Carolina had one, and it was actually pretty popular. We actually had 2 screens.
Yeah.
So you just flip whichever way you're facing. We had 2.
Right.
But it was
This
always,
place, dude, is in the middle of the forest, so it's literally surrounded by a wall of trees. It's
That's
one
cool.
screen because we're a small area. But you know, like down in the Bay Area, there was a few drive-ins with multi-screens. Like one of them had like 4 or 5 screens. But this one is just one screen out in the middle of the forest, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It's a family that runs that, and a movie theater that's also here in town. And I love good movie theater food when it's good. So we had some cheeseburgers and some candy. But anyway, love taking the family to the drive-in. But the season's over because it's going to start raining now.
I was gonna say, speaking of sort of like woods and camping, I actually had a pretty cool experience this past week. So I was gone last Thursday, and we drove up. We drove up.
This was new for you, right?
Yeah, this was a new race style for me. It's called Ragnar Relays. They're usually team relays, and how it works is you have a team of 8 or 4, and you basically start at like Friday morning at 9 or 10 in the morning, depending on what your start time is. And they figure this out by your teammates basically putting in what their average like pace is for like running, and then
that's how they determine whether you're going to be 4 or 8.
Or no, how you can determine what time you start. You know, like if you're really fast, then you don't have to start, or you'd be done super early. Or anyways, so some people sandbag, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's not like what we were doing. We were just having fun. We weren't competing or anything. So we started at 10 in the morning, and we finished.
What? Go ahead.
No, what?
Sorry, just go ahead.
I was going to say we started at 10 in the morning, and we finished at 2 p.m. the next day on Saturday. Yeah. But like, so how it works is we had a team of 8, one person didn't show, but normally how it works is you have 3 loops. You have basically a short, medium, and long, and everybody does one of those, but you do them in order. So like, and everybody's numbered. So I was number 7. So I'd be the 7th runner. So my first lap was a short. So I did that around like, I think 5-ish, 4:35 p.m. Eastern, but one of our teammates didn't show. So I took the third slot, the first slot, and that was a long run. And anyways, it was just a really cool experience because here's the kicker. You show up and you camp. You have tents. You have
no shit.
Yeah, and everybody, like the people I ran with had like the pop-up like tents and then what they do is there's these Walmart version of tents that are like $30. They attach to the I don't know they attach to it. So you know what I'm talking about, the pop-up tents that they fold down. They're like a
accordion. You're talking about a trailer that pops up?
No. Like
just a tent.
It's like but it's just a rooftop. You know, like those type of, like when you're tailgating or whatever. Right. You've got those tents.
Like an awning or like a Anyway, I know what you're talking about.
It goes up and it's like a canopy. Canopy sort of thing. But they pop up, and a unicorn's out, and then anyways. And takes like a few people to. Well, anyways, the tent's attached to that. So the cool thing we had like a little tent city. Like we had a flap that opened up and
that is
tables
cool.
And stuff, and it was a little bit chilly. So anyways, it was just really cool. So
no rain though, right?
No rain.
Good.
Lot of wind on Thursday night when we got there, like a lot of wind, but everything's staked down. People are in their tents. But so anyways, it starts Friday morning and you're going all day, all night. And so like I had my first night trail run where you're wearing your headlamp, and you're going and doing your thing. And that was it was a really cool experience. And the cool thing for me is this was my first fun like race run experience, right? Like it's outside of.
What do you mean? What do you mean your first fun one?
Because when I do the Spartan races and I'm running age group, you're
more competitive.
You're pushing it, right?
Gotcha,
you're
gotcha.
redlining it.
You weren't dead after this one. It was more just and
I did 22 something miles. So anyways, that's an 8-man group. Is everybody does 3 laps, one of each. And then the 4-man, they're the ultras, and everybody has to double up. So instead of 3, you have 6. And our tent, our little tent city had 2 groups, ours of 8 and our friend John's of 4. And as soon as I did all this, I was like, I could definitely do the ultra, and I think we have a few friends next year that are wanting to do a few.
Are
But
teams of 4 at a disadvantage to the teams of 8?
well, there you run in separate rate. Like it would be like instead of just doing one short, you do a short and maybe the long, or a medium and a short, or vice versa. Everybody, and you have to look at your schedule because again, you're doing this nonstop. So, and the cool thing is how they had it set up. I mean, dude, there was fires, there was food trucks, hot cider cocoa. They had a projector playing Hocus Pocus and like Rush Hour, like late at night.
Dude, that sounds fucking fun.
It was just a really cool time, and you've got all walks of life as far as fitness levels there. And, anyways, it was cool. It was it opened my eyes to like, like I could see myself doing those next year. Like I would definitely. It was interesting though because we did have bears in the area. A few people did see bears,
Ooh.
but they're black bears. They don't want anything to do with you. But you're running at night, and I could definitely see if you had
come around a corner or something like that.
Yeah, if you did not, if you hadn't ran at night, one, that's probably a weird experience for you too. And then having a headlamp, you only see what's like, in your vicinity right in front of you. But there was other people on the trails generally. Like I'd passed a lot of people when I did mine. And so, I mean, you weren't but maybe a minute away from someone at any given time, maybe a little bit longer. Definitely if you were like screaming, someone would hear you, right?
Sure.
Because sound travels. But it was just really cool. It was really cool.
Awesome.
And so that's what I did. That's what I did.
Yeah. Sounds like a good event. And I like team events too, personally. I mean,
right?
I like solo experiences where you're challenging yourself and trying to grow or whatever. But I'm just totally a team person. I love team sports, team cooperating and working together for a common goal. I love that kind of thing.
Well, and with this, the unique aspect of it is, right, not only are you running throughout the night, but you're getting woke up in the middle of the night, so you have to run or whatever, but you have time to recover. But the unique aspect of it is the team element, right? Where I thought I was going to woke up Saturday morning at like 6 a.m. to have to run, it took someone a little bit longer. Why? Because they were on a trail, they saw someone get hurt, so they stopped, they were helping out and stuff like that. And so like you have those unique things that happen. But I really enjoyed the laid backness, if you will, but also, like I saw teams out there, like some of our friends that were running the 8-man, but they were doing basically competing. They got first spot, but they were hauling ass. Like it was, oh, you've got your short loop, go. Like, oh, you're doing like I'm talking about hauling ass. Like,
right. How many minutes the short loop? How many minutes to like?
It was 3.9 miles. And then the medium was 5.1, and the long was 6.7. So,
you did all three?
Yeah, I did all three, and then I did a second long as well. So,
wow.
Yeah, I was happy with it. It was cool because like I started off doing my first long lap, and there was a guy right ahead of me, and I was looking down at my watch. I was like, okay, I want to keep around an 8:30 pace. I think I can do that on the trails. And it was helpful to he was keeping that pace, and then like halfway he started to fade, and so I got in front of him, and then he was able to pace behind me, and I remember he ate it. I'm talking about like face plant, because there's tree roots sometimes. There was a lot of technical stuff at certain points, but he not just like a little bit. I'm talking about face first, literally cut his chin, ate it, and I stopped and I was like, hey man, are you all right? And then not too like 30 seconds later, there was another guy that was following us. He ate it and stopped, and I was like, I don't know your guys' names. I was like, but we started this shit together. We're gonna finish together. Come on, let's go, let's go. And
that's the Marine in you.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like I said, I was like, I don't know who you are, and we did. We finished together. Me and the one guy, the older guy, sort of fell behind, but yeah, it was really cool, and it was a great experience. And what's inspiring is when you see like the 100-milers, the 50, 100-mile races where people go out, and I don't know. A part of me says, well, no, a part of me knows I could do that. Like, I guess that's I don't know. That's some
Someday, man.
some evil thing inside of me is like, yeah, you should sign up for one of those and do that, Phil. Like that's what you should do. I don't know.
Bucket list.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it sends you to your bucket. I don't know. Like,
Exactly, it would for me. My exercise, I've been walking a lot.
yeah.
Because we're like 10 minutes from downtown, so we walk down there, walk all over the docks, walk up around town, walk back, whatever. This is a total walking town. So, but yeah, the whole running thing, I'd be down for the team, the short team stuff.
Yeah.
But fuck 100 miles, I'm never gonna do that.
You mentioned you ran. I know you played football. Did you? You said you did track when you were in high school.
I was a big runner when I was young.
Oh yeah, you've got the
big time.
Yeah, you've got the height. My
I've
little
got
brother.
long legs.
Yeah. How tall are you?
2.
You're 6'2". Yeah, my brother is like your height, and he's just like. Anyways, he's got that runner's.
When I walk with people, because my stride is longer, so I'm usually walking faster than
I have
people.
4 steps for every 2 of yours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
The Wizard and the Hobbit.
I hated that in high school. I was like, but one thing I will say about running that's unlike any other sport, it's the hardest sport, I think, running. Like it's not based on soccer or football where you have to have bursts of speed or strength or anything. Especially if you're doing the 200, 400, 800, it's so uncomfortable. It's so there's no point in time generally like during a soccer match where you're literally all out sprinting for, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, as far as my running goes, I was, again, like I said, mine was always a burst thing. I always did the sprints or I did the relays. And so, maximum I might have done at one time twice around the track.
400, yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been tops. So
No,
I'm not an endurance runner.
Yeah,
I was all about.
That's an 800 because each lap is 400. Okay, yeah.
So that was absolutely my max. Usually, I think I did 1 lap. So it was either a sprint just down one side, or it was 1 lap during a relay or something like that.
Are you quick when you walk? Because like I know people that are like, it's like they're not walking.
Power walkers.
They're exercising, right?
I've had to slow down because the people I walk with, I'll outpace them. So I think over the years, my walking has slowed down. But yeah, I can walk really fast, and pump my arms while I'm walking, like an old man. But anyway, yeah, exercise is good. We should all do it.
And drink coffee.
Well, Orion mentioned Alaska. Orion, where'd you live in Alaska? It's funny because I went in May. We took a cruise and we did an Alaskan cruise, and Alaska was absolutely beautiful. It was some of the most beautiful land I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of America and Canada and Mexico and so forth. I haven't been to Europe or across the ponds or whatever, but I've been to Hawaii. But it's just, Alaska is insanely beautiful. Saw the glaciers, saw tons of whales and wildlife, and just the land itself. It's so unpopulated. It's wild. And the reason I was bringing that up is because that actually leads into the boats. One of the reasons why I want to get a boat is because I want to go back, but on my terms. And, take a summer and do 2 months of just cruising up the Inside Passage and going to Alaska. Loved the little towns, Juneau and the other ones we went to. But anyway,
and you can take
Alaska
your time, right? On cruises, you've got you're under crunch time, right? It's like when you stop somewhere, it's like, hey, you can do this, but you got to be back in this time. Whereas, if you're on a boat, you could just pull up to a dock and go do whatever you're going to do, stay there, go back to your boat and stay there. And then, that freedom, that does sound nice, right? Isn't that
nice.
the entire thing? Like when I talk about like small living or like
downsizing,
and this is something I was talking to you about, but I've also talked to my wife about, and we don't see eye to eye necessarily on it. But like, if I could snap my fingers, I would be okay with like moving up to the mountains and having like the financial freedom. Like I would be okay with having like a 1-bedroom, house.
A little cabin. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like I could do that right now. Like I could be, and not having any debt. Like to me, that's appealing to where you don't, there's just something.
No, dude, I'm right there with you.
Translate
that to my situation.
How do we?
I'm totally comfortable getting like a little 36-foot sailboat, which for a family of 3 is pretty tight. That's a small space. and
But
I'm
you're not going to
totally
have any
down.
more kids, right?
No, not gonna have any more kids.
Okay,
But
so
but my wife is not. She's like, no, it's got to be 45 foot plus. It's got to have enough space. We got to all have our own space,
yeah, yeah,
So we're looking at boats that are like 45 to
yeah.
50 foot or whatever. But
But
I'm
she's
like
probably right,
me,
though.
and she is right. And
Yeah, yeah,
and if they're not happy, I won't be
yeah,
happy.
yeah.
But like I was telling my wife, we were at dinner down, or we were having lunch down by the marina, and I said, see that little boat? And it was probably like 30 foot or less. I'm like, I could live on that if I was single.
And she's like, "Well, you would be if you were
You
living
can
on
be
it."
if you keep going that direction. But no, I mean, I think us as guys, we can be a little bit more
Well,
simplistic, and maybe it's not realistic as far as like
yes.
we're just thinking for ourselves
Yeah,
and our
yeah.
own comfort
Well, no,
levels.
I'm even saying like from like a financial perspective of where like what really matters, and then also the freedom of not like car payments. I hate car payments. Like
I know,
I haven't
right?
had car payments up until we got her car, and then I had to get mine. Like, and
Debt sucks, dude,
I,
no
I
matter
I
what.
just don't like having that over my head. And like with a mortgage, you're basically, depending on how big of a mortgage, you're basically doing exactly that, and where you're never really gonna even rich people don't usually pay off their house because it just makes more sense to put that money into like stocks, and they're gonna make more money. But anyways, I guess my point being is like I would be okay with like snap my fingers right now, just go up to the
In a
mountains,
cabin.
have a few
Dude,
acres. Yeah.
simple living is beautiful, and we're going off on a tangent on this whole thing, but it's okay. There's something when you can simplify your life and then just appreciate the simple things. There's something about that lifestyle that clicked with us over the last few years, where I realized it's not about getting a new big screen TV every few years, making sure you're on the cutting edge, and with space, as far as like a big house, the more space you have, we've found over the years, the more shit you buy and you fill up the space, like
Yeah.
it's and more debt you go into, and the more debt you're in, the more you're a slave to your jobs. And like there's a certain magic if you can connect with it, to downsizing and simplifying and appreciating the simple things, not trying to compete with the Joneses, and
Yeah.
looking around and seeing what everybody else has. Who fucking cares, man? Find what you like in life, what you appreciate.
Yeah.
And downsizing may not be for everybody, and that's fine. But I think we've definitely found a certain magic to
Yeah,
downsizing
sure.
and simplifying our lives.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's one of those where me and my wife, we just look at things a little bit different. Like because how she grew up with having a central sort of location where her family would get together for like, holidays and stuff. And it's something where I didn't necessarily have exactly that. And so of course, two different lives. And
Yep.
yeah, she's definitely more open to the downsizing, especially where we're at right now. And
Yeah.
yeah, and of course, like I said during the last one, it's looking like that's going to be the case. I get to repaint cabinets because
Woohoo!
my wife picked a color that isn't necessarily
Transferable to the next owner.
yeah, I don't like, god dang it, like geez, yeah.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But yeah, no, the endurance side of me, looking at some of the stuff, is really intrigued by like seeing other people do these things, and then realizing like hey, you can do those. But
Yep.
if you sit on the sidelines forever, you're going to be looking back like, oh man, I remember
But
growing up and seeing like the eco challenge and some like endurance and crazy stuff people doing, and just being like, oh man, that looks awesome. Well then,
someday never happens, man. You just got to make someday be today. That's what I've
you know,
decided, because life just, the older you get, man, like you think life time goes by quick now. If you ever get kids,
yeah,
the older you get, time just freaking flies by. It feels like it's fast forward.
yeah.
And the older you get, and you have this whole someday notion in your head, someday I'll do this, someday I'll do that. That someday can never come. I've seen people say
But
someday for 20 years.
isn't that the premise of like work your ass off and retire at 60, 70? Like someday I'm gonna like,
I'm
is that
not
just the
really. I
U.S.
don't.
culture, or is it? I
I
mean,
think
I
it
don't,
is
but I don't
because, dude,
know.
I see people retire. Like finally, that someday comes, they retire and then they die. You know, it's like, and I hope you live to be 100. All of you out there, I hope you all live to be 100, as long as it's a comfortable life. But really, it's just if you have something in your mind, see if you can do it now. See if there's a way to make it happen now and fit within your life. You know, and that's really like initially, I think Rebecca and I were thinking about retiring onto it, but we've pretty much, as far as living on the West Coast, Pacific Northwest, we've realized we're probably never going to own a home. Home prices out here are ridiculous,
Mhm.
insane. You know, like the house we're living in right now, we're renting. Is I think it's market value is like 800K or something like that. We'll never be able to buy around here. So as long as we don't want to move to somewhere, you know, like I mean, we could probably buy if we moved to Texas or Oklahoma or Kansas or something like that. But we
North
have
Carolina,
both, or North Carolina, areas of North Carolina, not all of it.
not all of it.
But we've lived in on the West Coast all of our lives, both Rebecca and I,
Yeah.
and we've grown up here, and we don't really want to live. We love the Pacific Northwest. We want to stay out here. So we kind of realized we're never going to buy a home, most likely. And so a boat for us was a way to downsize and to afford it. And so then it became not so much a when we retire thing, but can we make this happen now? Because now we can stop paying rent, and now we can, start putting money away and put money into something that is ours, which is our boat. But what I wanted to mention to you earlier, something funny. I just got a text from Micah's school. The Great Shakeout is tomorrow at 10:17 a.m. Practice, drop, cover, and hold on. Tsunami sirens will be activated. So see, that happens every once in a while
That's like
in our
being
area.
my family. I'm from Nebraska. That's where I was born, but I haven't lived there for any period of time. But anytime you're out there, they every month they have and I've actually seen tornadoes when we're out there, and it's a
Yeah.
weird, eerie thing when you
Yep.
see a tornado off in the
Oh
distance.
yeah, dude.
And yeah. Anyways, the sirens go off for testing every month, but when you hear the sirens and it's not that time, it's very, very eerie. And
Would be.
no, yeah. I'm
All
good.
right, so let's enough about us, right?
I don't know.
Do you have anything else? Do you have any TV movies, anything going on? The movie we saw at the drive-in was a kids movie. It was Abominable. Yeah, Abominable.
Haven't even heard of it.
It was a an animated movie.
Are
It
you
was
gonna
actually pretty good.
are you gonna have to go see Frozen 2 when it comes out?
Probably.
Why do you have to bring that up, Phil? So I've got a mandate with my buddy to watch Peaky Blinders, the latest season on Saturday. So we just he's my Marine buddies down the road, and so we were like, "Yep, we're doing it." And
Magic's getting the song in my head.
My wife was like, "Well, I don't want to watch it." I was like, "Good,
nice.
Go you and our friend, you guys can go, I don't know, do whatever women do." I was like, this is going to be a man time. This is what's happening. Because my wife, love her, sheesh, man, she is if she doesn't start watching it from the very beginning, questions the entire time.
Why are they doing that? Why?
And I'm like,
yeah.
It was already explained. I was like, just watch the show. Like, oh my gosh. Like,
yep.
Yeah, just I can't do it. I'm like, this is like season 3. You haven't watched season 1. You don't have any interest in it. So I don't know if I want her there. I don't want her there. I'll be honest. I don't want her there. I just want
realistic.
just me and my buddy and us have beer and we get to watch Peaky Blinders, the latest season. That's what I want. That's what's happening.
Right on.
Maybe. Hopefully. I say that.
Yep.
I'm so full of crap. But yeah, so let's go dive in. Anyways, just want to say thank you again, guys, for tuning in. Hopefully you're having a great time, day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Hopefully you like these just simple conversations between a wizard and a hobbit. And we'll just go dive into some MWO stuff.
Yeah, well, speaking of MWO, or I should say just our chat and the people out in chat. Hey, welcome to the NGNG casino as well, right? So much.
They've been enjoying it.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely kept our chat.
It's almost like we've tapped into something addictive in the personalities. I don't know.
But anyway, it's been fun. We did add some new stuffs to our stream over the last couple of weeks. Having a fun time with you guys. The streams have been fun.
Yes,
it is like you mentioned. It's like adding little dailies or something. That, you know.
I think you missed what I was doing yesterday. So yesterday,
Did you have a new what are they called?
yes. So we Sev out there, shout outs to Sev. He said, "Why don't you do a progressive thing where like you start off with like, can Phil do 500 damage, and you stay in one mech, and then 600, and then 700, and if you fail, either you go back." But I was like, if I fail, then I'm just gonna move on to the next mech. So I did the Fafnir.
I heard you got 1500.
So my goal on the so we get 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, get to 1,000, and it was an insane match. And 1,556. It was just like, and it could have been even more. It was just one of those like, and then yeah.
Was it
I need
dual
to highlight
heavy
that.
Gauss?
Yeah, dual heavy Gauss, 5 mediums, the Fafnir, 2 Bravo. But it was funny like during the match and stuff. And there was another one. I was just like, I don't know. I tapped in. I was like, we're gonna do this. It's like all these non-believers, because everybody's voting no or whatever, and it was like, and on comms, like in game, I'm like, we're turning this shit around. Let's go. We're flanking. We're pushing. Take them. And just like it was fun. And for me, it's added a unique perspective where I'm challenging myself, and I'm pretty competitive with myself, and so it's like, but I'm not down if I lose. Like it's gonna happen. Like the 1,100 damage match, the next, just the things didn't line up. I couldn't do it, so it is what it is. It was a cool run, right? So yeah, it was really cool. So we've been enjoying that.
It's been a good time. It's added another layer of interactivity with that, and I've been well. So you can look for us again. We'll be both streaming tomorrow and Friday.
All right, so we've got the MWO Comp Championship Series 2019. Are you qualified? Matt's a genius.
Qualified. Now, I think the MWO Comp guys might have worked with him. Maybe even they may even have suggested that title. I don't know 100%. I did see a conversation going on Discord. I don't know who came up with it, but whoever came up with it, very cool. And it's nice to see Matt working with MWO Comp. But yeah, basically it's an event, sale, and tournament update. I'll drop the link in chat.
Yeah, and they had a few bonuses on the event for doing like the comp matches. And then they had other stuff like where you didn't have to be. And of course, link is in chat. And of course, if you're listening afterwards, we don't have much time, I think, left on this, right? How much time, or am I wrong?
It goes to the 22nd. Yeah.
Okay.
October
yeah, you
22nd.
got plenty. Yeah,
so we have some time.
Yeah, you got plenty of time. But yeah, I enjoy doing the in-game events. I've always wanted dailies. I mean, I think it is what it is now, but it's one of those things where I've always. So that's where the engagement of doing like the C-bills, what we've been doing in our channel, have sort of allowed me and possibly you to do, which is like I can,
make
do
our own events.
Yeah, and it's on a per match basis and stuff, and so anyways, it allows you to, Go ahead. It allows you to bounce around because like in the events, it's usually like maybe a handful of mechs and then you get done and you're done. Whereas with this, what we're doing is like it's like a constant thing, and anyways,
I'll tell you what, it keeps me busy. Because I often have matches where I've got a contest going on. So am I going to get 300, 400 or more damage? I always say I'm at least half the MechWarrior you are. So you're going for 600 damage. I'm going for 300. So I'll have a contest running. I'll have a giveaway running. And, people are hunting me for dev kill medallions. And sometimes I let them salvage my mech. So literally I can come out of a match and have to deal with 3 things. It's keeping me busy, so it's nice. The streams go by really quick, but I also get pretty tired by the end. I'm like,
unless you drink like 5 cups of coffee.
Unless
I heard that
that day I had 5. Yeah, so that wasn't yesterday. I forgot what day that might have been.
It's like
Monday.
2 days ago. It was Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I had 5 cups of coffee. I was totally wired all the way up until the moment I wasn't, and I hit a wall so hard, man. I could just feel it. All my energy just dropped. But it's good. It's we're having a good time, so I look forward to continuing.
How many cups of coffee? Well, I mean, okay, to be fair, you drink some larger cups, mugs, bowls of coffee. How many of those do you normally drink? Like 2, 3?
2 or 3.
2 or 3? So, I mean, from a actual cup
1 or 2 in the morning and 1 in the...
So you're probably drinking, if you were to measure it, because it's actually by cup, right? So, like, I know this isn't one, like, so you're probably drinking like 6 cups of coffee, actually, technically, cups of coffee.
Probably 4 to 6, depending on. I think most days I drink one mug like this in the morning and one in the.
Yeah. Okay.
Every once in a while I throw an extra one.
All right.
Monday, I don't know what happened.
So obviously that's it for MWO. Nothing as far as else there. MechWarrior 5, the launch party 20-year anniversary. Of course, we talked about that last time.
Yeah, it's the 20-year anniversary of Piranha Games. It's the launch party for MechWarrior 5, and they've already sold out over 50% of the tickets. I don't know where they're at today. That was yesterday, so the tickets are selling out.
I saw Nutty posted up.
He's got his.
Yeah, he got ticket and hotel.
He's ready to party.
Yeah. And of course, so I know I said I'm not gonna be able to make it. It's too close to holidays. Are you gonna be able to? Well,
I'm still working on it. It's like it's like
it's
right
right
around
there.
the corner
Like,
from
I was
Christmas.
just like,
we got family in town, so I'm just trying to figure it out. I've had a few people ask me whether I'm going to be there and basing. I don't know why they would base going on me, but
because they want to see your face.
It's because I think people want to have friends, and I understand that. I just don't have an answer yet. I'm trying to figure that out. I would love to be there, of course, but we do have family in town, and I got to just kind of work around that. So we'll see. I should find out within the next week or so whether I'm going to be there.
All right. No new updates on BattleTech by HBS, but I would suspect we have to see something soon because we know they're after.
Wait, there's something they've been dropping little hints about PDX Con.
Well, that's what I figured.
Metal, right?
Because on their roadmap, they had urban warfare, and then they had something else, and they didn't name it.
Yeah, there's an update next week. I'm pretty sure announcements.
The heavy metal. Well, Saturday. That's what I'm saying is like we don't know what that is. I mean, but remember too, Mitch did say the Unseen are going to be coming officially because they're already in game via mods, but officially. Yeah. And how that's.
Dude, I'm so stoked for that.
Yeah, if you're wondering how that works, is like the modding community's added literally hundreds of mechs and chassis and stuff like that. So anytime an official mech comes out, they just remove it because it's already in game and blah blah blah. So, all right. So we've got. Hold on. This just came out today. Should we play this? Do you want to play this?
Yeah, show it.
Hold on. Well, hold on. Let me.
Can you bring it up on the?
Yeah. Let me.
Gotta unmute so I can watch it too.
Yeah. Let me do display capture here. I don't know if this is gonna work.
Live from PDXCon 19, Saturday, October 19th, we are going to drop 470 tons of heavy metal.
470 tons of metal.
Heavy metal. So, wait, 470 tons. Is that Alpha Lance?
Well, I mean, just think of, do the numbers. I mean, that would be Marauder 75, Archer, Warhammer, and what am I missing here?
More. So it's more than just Alpha Lance, obviously, because
I'm wondering if they're gonna do like Stinger and stuff like that. Like, I'm wondering if
I would love, man, because I've been watching, Blackwell been putting out those renders. Oh my god,
yeah,
beautiful. Like, and he did the Wasp the other day. Was it the Wasp or the Stinger? I think it was the Wasp. Dude, I'm just. Mech designs and what we're doing today like just blows away what we were dealing with back in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. Mech, it's just beautiful, man.
It's pretty cool.
What were we talking about earlier? The gargoyle.
Yeah, so nice. Moving to Catalyst Game Labs, the Kickstarter update basically came out yesterday, which has been really nice consistency on their part. Mm-hmm. Basically what they're doing is they're working with artists for the 3D models and how 3D, and I'm assuming how 3D, I think they're doing 3D printing. Anyways, they're doing the 3D models and they're basically prepping the master for, like molds and so forth. And they have an example of the Executioner, which by the way, the Executioner, and I've seen the gargoyle and stuff. I've seen there's images that are coming out. The Executioner looks fantastic. The gargoyle looks fantastic. I think it looks, obviously they've got it in a stance and stuff, but I think the one thing that I like about the gargoyle that I've seen via Catalyst Game Labs versus like MW01, very similar. There's similarities. That design sort of between Shimmy and Anthony, they spent more time on the like cockpit face area and other aspects to where it didn't look like just like a like you said, a football player or
Football
like
helmet or whatever.
Conan Barbarian thing, headdress thing. But yeah, so the Executioner looks really nice, and yeah, that's a thing. That's what's happening. So
Yep.
Kudos. And I also saw something. I saw an Irby that was also done by Alan. I don't know if that's official or if that was done by, I think maybe a fan, and then he also just basically did a 3D representation. But I had to retweet that.
Speaking of Irbies, I was watching Haven run around. He's doing his Halloween themed urban mech with his scary voice. It was just fun watching him yesterday.
He was doing I rated him yesterday, and he was doing like there was anyways, people could like do stuff, and it was like making noises on the stream, and yeah, he was having fun, and
always entertaining.
Yeah, the entertainment factor is up there. So
another cool thing, we talked about it briefly, and we could probably expand on it next week on our next podcast once we've both had a chance to try it out. But on the what is it? The Internet Archives,
yes.
MechWarrior 2 and MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries is now available. You can play in browser. I know there's potentially some issues, may not run perfectly for everybody or whatever. I have, like I said, we haven't really, you dabbled with it a little bit this morning. I haven't checked it out yet. But I also noticed Crescent Hawk's Inception is on there. So I'm kind of excited to try some of these games that I literally, like Crescent Hawk's Inception, that was late 80s, I think. Yeah, 88. So holy cow, dude. You're talking 30 years ago. 30 fucking years ago. I remember playing Inception, but it's been that long. It's going to be fun for me to dive back into that.
It looks like this is like a DOS emulator, and that's what they're using, but it's like the full game of MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries. I'm not sure about like controls, and it's interesting that they didn't go with like a Windows 95 or whatever version, because it might be compatibility, but I'll definitely have to see if there's more here. I would like to do a MechWarrior 4, MechWarrior 3 playthrough. I know you can. I think there's some workarounds you got to do for drivers, because new video cards and stuff like that. But it'd be cool to take a trip down memory lane a bit, especially considering you had MechWarrior 3, and then you had Pirates Moon, and then Mech 4, and then you had 3 DLCs with that, right? So yeah. That would be
what I like about it is that, like I've said many times that I've been playing MechWarrior 4 once or twice a year forever since it came out. But it's cool seeing basically the life of these games. Like, we're so fanatical about this franchise that we will still play and have fun with the game that came out in the 80s or early 90s or whatever. And what I get excited about that is, the potential for MechWarrior 5. It's new technology. Everything's going to look beautiful. And then it has modding like there's been no modding accessibility before. Like the previous games, you haven't, of course there's mod teams and people that have done really cool things.
Mech 4, I think MechTech had the tools because they had a license agreement to create mods. That was the only, that was their agreement. So they had the tools for that, and that was it. So,
but Mech 5 has so much potential as far as that goes. And that just gets me excited because of not only longevity, but also versatility and being able to see just take that foundation and just make whatever anything that you can think of.
And unfortunately, I have a really big imagination, so there's
I know, right? Whatever and you can think of, depending.
I mean, even for my own personal
I know. You want Mech Commander. We know.
Well, yeah, but like there's other ideas as well. And then like what is that? And so it's just how much I think there's something to be said about content creators creating stories and experiences, right? Like, I think there's something to be said about the ability to experience maybe a story that you've read about, or
dude.
you know, like, and it doesn't even have to be. And this is where I go back to, like, it doesn't have to be big. Like, the first thing pops your mind is like, oh, Clan Invasion, Tukiyid, and all that. No, I'm thinking even smaller. Like I said, like,
small. Just pick a nice novel, man, that has
Decision
a nice contained. Decision at Thunder Rift. I want to play Decision at Thunder Rift so bad, you know. Yeah.
So, you know, and I'm talking about where, you know, you're almost taking a novel and experience and translating into, and it'd just be a fun, but the amount of work. And so that's the kicker, is like the amount of work and effort. But the cool thing is the tools are going to be available. Now, that being said, unfortunately, we did hear that the tools will not be available on the game's release at launch. And so hopefully we'll hear a little bit more about that.
But I think the next AMA is supposed to be about modding.
Well, I think that's what he wants. Yeah, that's what Russ wants to do. But here's the kicker, is like, that's not going to stop us from digging in the files and, you know, seeing what's there and stuff like that.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, I think we'll, you know, the glimpses that we've seen of the tools that they're working with are pretty intuitive, especially like mech creation and stuff like that. But again, I guarantee someone is going to mod infantry in. Someone is going to mod. I guarantee, I'm saying it now, someone's going to mod it to where you can run around as a grunt and shoot at mechs. And someone's going to mod where you can pilot a VTOL or a tank. Like, those are, I mean, think about it. That's really low-hanging fruit, I think, as far as what's possible. The kicker is like, how much can someone, you know, because they're doing sort of the storyline sandbox experience, are you able to then string together missions and have a different campaign to where it's just like, it's very linear and it's storytelling and stuff like that. And then obviously, you know, scene transitions and stuff, you know, you can do that. You're going to have mocap available. So you're going to have human models, 3D models in there. I mean, so I feel like the sky's the limit. It's just, we don't know how much work and effort. Obviously, with anything mod huge like that, it takes a long time and a team of dedicated people.
Yeah, and you and I met like 10 years ago, you know, as modders for Living Legends. And so we know what people are capable of. That was a huge effort, organizational effort. But within the BattleTech IP, there are people who will put forth that effort. And so I really think sky's the limit. And this will have more modding capabilities than anything we've
and
seen before.
Even Living Legends, like, I remember playing. There was things I really liked about the mod, and then there was things I didn't. But I mean, the idea of like that transferring to an updated engine and updated tools to where you can do pretty much everything. I mean, think about this too. Is like, from, let's just say you wanted to do what like Living Legends. Well, here you have a game. All the models are done. All the artwork is consistent,
which is huge. Think about how much it
all
took.
The animations, you don't have to create, because that's a kicker. With that game, they had to create all the systems. Now all of it's done for you.
And remember how that could sometimes translate into some mechs were great and some were wonky because you had different people doing it. They had to, you know, different people doing the animations. Some people were better than others, et cetera, et cetera. And so I like the consistency. We're going to have all of the foundation there, and hopefully all the tools making it as easy as possible.
And I say, to be clear, you have to know Unreal Editor, so you can download that for free right now and understand how that works.
Get training.
The difference, like, we're not going to get like a mission editor per se, like what you're thinking about. Like with Mech Commander, they had an all-in-one system. Basically, you know, what tiles to lay down, building. It was in a program itself. Like they had a mission thing, and then you'd create the mission in Mech Commander, and then you could. Anyways, we're not going to get that per se, but you're going to get all the tools. From my understanding, you're going to get all the tools that they're working with, and we've seen screenshots of it. Brian Ekman has released a few on their Discord, and some of the modders and stuff. And that there's a channel for that. So that's my understanding. That's why, like, when you hear Russ and them saying, and you know, again, multiple times, like he'll say, I think the mod team's gonna do that. Like he literally just said that like multiple times on the last one. Like that's a mod, right? Like so now they did mention no melee, and he said something interesting. He said at least not at release.
Yeah, I know. Why did he say that? Because everybody,
because
like obviously right there.
I
somebody in chat just brought up melee.
I don't want it looking like. You know who
Rock'em
does it?
Sock'em Robots.
Yeah,
man.
you know who does it
look...
really well is a Battlefield game or even Titanfall, where when you get to X distance from another mech, you would press a button and
you're locked into that.
Yeah, it's a
number
and
one.
that would be fan-fucking-tastic. Even then, I don't want just where you can just, you're running around swinging this, just looking stupid. But if you got up to, if you're in an Atlas and you got up to whatever, and you could press and it, boom, just hits, and then it resets or whatever. And another thing we don't know is we don't know if there's fall down, how does, because one of the issues in MWO is the network and stuff that we had issues. And also from the player perspective, Knockdown was really, it had a negative outcome, which you were pretty much screwed. But in a PvE environment where you could set the odds more in favor of the player and to be that godlike character,
it would be cool,
right? So maybe they do that, but you got to think it's another sequence for behind the scenes. It's an animation and obviously blueprint, which would be like a scripting thing. So I'm sure someone's going to figure that out. But then what you have to do is you're going to have to implement some type of animation system loop that is included, and that depends on how does that work on mechs? How does that work on mechs that don't have hands? Those are things that you have to solidify, but you can do, I think. And also, too, I think it would work because Titanfall, the mechs moved pretty quick, and yet it could engage. But it wasn't a free flow melee. It's not like Mortal Kombat where you could, you know what I'm saying? It was locked in. You Battlefield, same thing. You go to knife someone. Now you go to knife someone could. If they hit X or whatever, a certain time they could stop it. But this is a PvE game, so you could just have it happen. But then it could also happen to you. But what you could set it up is you could set up so the player has the option of potentially blocking the melee or something like that. So it's intriguing, but I don't know if they're going to do it or if the mod scene's going to do it and beat it to them. And I know, and I see this attitude of like, well, why can't the devs do it? Or they should just do it anyways. I think people sometimes underestimate how much work and effort goes into that, especially if it's not priority. And then also too is how much time and effort some people in some mod teams have that can just dedicate to one thing and boom, they get it. And then they can, over the period of time, they could iterate on it. And then it's boom, it's right there for the entire community. And that's the nice thing about mods is the really, really good ones everybody uses and everybody adapts, and we see that in BattleTech with HBS. Rogue Tech is a compilation. It's not one mod; it's hundreds of mods. Right?
I still play DayZ. I still play Fallout. I mean, these are things where the mod community is huge, and there's so many things, and there's no way the devs could ever include all that stuff, even the really cool stuff, on their own, and that's really what makes modding so cool. Now, what is interesting is when a developer sees some really great mods and they make those official basically, and they integrate them into the product. But once Mech 5 comes out, I want them busy working on the first DLC, and then hopefully the second DLC or whatever. And so again, I have a lot of hope and faith in the modding capabilities of MechWarrior 5. I got all fingers and toes crossed. I want to see some amazing things, and I know the people that can do it are out there, and I know that this franchise has that kind of passion.
Well, and it goes back to something I think we talked about. Someone just mentioned MechWarrior 5 online or something. Well, you already have that
Bandit
co-op.
Hey, Bandit. Yep.
And I will say, I love PvP, and whether it's shooter games or MechWarrior Online, but there is something to be said about a co-op experience with friends.
Oh, totally, dude.
That we've never had in a MechWarrior game, and it's never. And I'm not talking about you just throw endless waves upon waves of stuff, even though that's a cool game. Like how far can you survive,
sure.
and we know there's going to be repair labs and stuff.
Repair and rearm.
just think about outside of the box, the stuff you're going to be able to do just with that alone.
Dude, it's going to be amazing being able to form up our own lance and work together. And, you know,
is someone going to crack that to where you're able to bring more people in? We don't know. And that's the thing, is we don't know if 4 people is the limit and that can be cracked, or is that can be hard coded. We don't know if maybe someone can make it so you can bring, like, instead of just 4 people, it's 3 of your friends, but each person can also bring 2 or 4 AI lance mates as well. We just don't know. So like, that's the thing, is like a lot of the don't know.
There's a lot of unknowns still.
Yeah,
yes,
like,
for sure.
You know, and it would be, you know, Russ did mention that all this stuff takes place on planets. I have a feeling someone is going to mod it so it happens on an asteroid or aerospace fighter, or you're not even on a planet, you're out in space and you're flying a freaking fighter. Why would I say that? It's because if I've seen anything in any of the other mods, it's the sky's the limit. And, you know, I wouldn't put it past, especially how the tools are in the blueprint system. For those that don't know, the scripting blueprint in Unreal, it's very versatile. And so, you know,
there's geniuses out there. I think we're going to see some amazing stuff. So from all of you out there, we expect to see Mech Commander.
Make us good shit.
We expect to see all of our favorite novels turned into mini games. We expect, you know, everything from you guys.
Yeah. Well,
I want to play Mech 5 for 20 fucking years, you know?
Well, I'm going to be, like I said, I've got ideas even for Mech Commander, but one of the things that the first things that pop up is, one, we know there's going to be a 3rd-person camera. So Mech Commander really isn't out of the realm, but the difference being is if you're going to do a point and click, or are you going to be actually controlling a mech, a la sort of Mech Assault, but a top-down isometric? How does that affect AI? Does it affect, you know, this as far as pathing? And then also, depending on, do you have UI changes? Well, then, even if you're doing a Mech Commander, one of the issues I had in the original and even 2 was it just becomes like you grab all of your mechs and alpha one target and stuff like that. So then, you know, that's where I can see the difference between an RTS is like something like a Dawn of War and then a Dawn of War 2, where you go from a large scale squad stuff to like more of a hero stuff. And then you have other actions that can happen, whether you're calling in support from above or, you know, so forth and so on. There's some design stuff.
Somebody needs to mod in infantry.
Yeah.
Until that's officially done, I need to squish some little peoples.
Yeah.
And shoot them with machine guns and flamers and stuff.
Yeah. And, you know, like I said, I think people are going to mod in mechs. It's going to be interesting to see if people mod in mechs.
No one mentions Dawn of War 3.
No. Well, hey, good idea. In practice, right? They were trying, and that's what sucks, you know, not to get on a tangent here, but might as well, we're already here. Is what, you know, do you try to reinvent the wheel? You know, like, especially on RTS, what do you do to make a better RTS, or is it just the same? Well, if it's just the same, RTSs aren't really popular. Same thing. Like, it's like first-person shooters. What recently changed the game just from stale? And that's a Battle Royale. Different styles Battle Royale, but it's all the same mechanic of force engagement and stuff. And it's hugely popular. Up until that, it was just super boring. We were getting the same stuff. I mean, remember Arma, me and you playing? And it was like... it was boring, like same thing. So
well, sometimes it was awesome, but it got over time. You're like, okay, got to have something different.
But I think the kicker with like Dawn of War 3 is they were trying something new, missed the mark slightly. But the disappointing thing with Dawn of War 3 is they literally said, all right, we're done. We're not supporting. It is what it is. That's horrible. Like business practice. Like I don't even understand how that works.
I've thought about this a lot of times as a developer. You know, we think of the best games that have come out over the last 20 years, you know, the ones that really stand out. And oftentimes that's somebody who takes a chance. It's a developer who does something different, does something new. Instead of following trends, they create a new trend, you know, or whatever. But that's risky business. That's why so many developers don't rock the boat, so to speak. You know, they go with, because they have big money in it. It could be 50 million, 100 million. They got board of directors. Yeah. And they want the people that are investing, they want, you know, a safe bet. So go with what's working, go with what's already selling, go with what's popular. But those developers that get into a situation where they have the ability to really break new ground and try something different, I on one hand love it, but on the other hand, I know how big of a risk it is. It could totally, just like that, not work.
Yeah. You know, so yeah, as far as the mod scene, again, it's going to be interesting because you've got the tile system for maps, but then you also have the ability to create original. And that's where I feel like the story, like for instance, coming up with a decision at Thunder Rift, you know, we know there's a physical limit size as far as kilometers, I think. But you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And that's what I'm intrigued about. We're sort of just waiting on the edge here to be able to get into. So I myself am looking forward to it. And I know a lot of people else out there, and it's going to be cool because even though mechs should be the central focus, and I get that, so much of BattleTech is the new, it's
intrigue, politics,
right?
relationships and drama. Oh, totally, dude. I mean, what's his name? That one guy that described it, he has a YouTube video, you know, is basically Game of Thrones in space. It's totally accurate. And that's a perfect explanation, you know, and why also somebody out there, Sony or whoever has the freaking rights, do a damn movie or TV show on HBO or do something. Hey, I know it's not going to happen, but I'm going to keep dreaming.
No, that's not. That's one of those like double-edged swords where like, yeah, I'd love that, but don't fuck it up. Like,
yeah, well, obviously it's got to be done right.
Like,
it would have to be done
good.
like Game of Thrones, except for the last season. But anyway, good stuff, man.
Anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I just want to say thank you again for being here. Darren, it's always a pleasure sitting down and talking with you.
Likewise.
Of course, this podcast is supported by you, the viewer. Please consider supporting us in a variety of ways. One of the first ones is you can become a sub. Are you listening? Do you enjoy these conversations? Do you enjoy watching that wizard and this hobbit play MWO every single day? If you do, click on that sub button. It really does help support us. It's a great way of doing it. You can also check us out on Patreon if you don't want to give Amazon any more money. Totally understand. We got a merchandise store. Check that out. And then another big one that you need to utilize is that Amazon affiliate link. If you're buying anything,
please.
If you're buying anything on Amazon, use that link. It's down below. We'll have it below the descriptions. We get kickbacks when you guys order stuff. Doesn't matter what it is, and we don't get any personal information. So there is that. And but yeah, I just want to say thank you again for being here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that podcast. And of course, we will be back tomorrow afternoon with double streams as always.
It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to streams tomorrow. We're gonna raid Cyclone Jack after that. He's got a good he's got a good event going on. But that's gonna be it for us today. Be sure to check out our website at NoGutsNoGalaxy.net. Check us out on Twitch at NGNGTV, YouTube at NoGutsNoGalaxy TV, Twitter at NoGutsNoGalaxy, Facebook at NoGutsNoGalaxy Podcasts, and SoundCloud at NoGutsNoGalaxy. And for all the latest and greatest in mech porn t-shirts and mugs, be sure to check us out at NoGutsNoGalaxyStore.com.
This was your local No Guts, No Galaxy MechWarrior podcast. Signing off for tonight. This is Phil.
And this is Darren.
Until next time, Mech Warriors. He's getting so good. I'm so proud of you.